Hold on. We'll play this again. Enough of that crap. Check. Oh, hey, there I am. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Sorry, I had a phone call from a driver. Miscommunication on the broker's part between shipper and broker, and so therefore he is going to lose his next load. So I guess we got to deal with that this morning. So good morning. I hope everyone is well. I put up a video on the small channel this morning and hope that you watch it. We're getting some work done on our garage. Today is going to be a pretty full day. I've got to babysit, make sure some trucks are able to pick up and deliver today. And then we got a church event, and then we got a metal show. So, all the extremes, right? So, but yeah, so that's what, and it's been interesting to see what the rates are doing. Now, Jeffrey Like went live last night, and I can't find the video anymore, so I'm not sure what happened, what causes him to take it down. But I get it, because sometimes things happen, and we have to make the video private. I do it all the time. So, good morning. I hope all is well, and we're plodding along. We're trying to get through life, and so there you go. But anyways, good morning. Let's do some comments. LVC, you're the first one in here. You are up early, my friend. Schmitty Trucker, good morning. Greg Zimmer, first, I got your emails. That's great news. I informed the next broker on the next load that he has nothing to worry about. So that was the thing. So yesterday I called on a load that needed to do exactly what I needed it to do, or it did what I needed it to do. Okay, sorry, I apologize. It's early. Let's grab a sip of coffee. And he's like, hey, if your driver's not out of that receiver by 11 a.m., I need to know, because we're going to bail on this. I'm like, I will let you know, because the appointment is at 2:30, and he's about 2 hours away. So there's a cutoff point, so the broker doesn't have to pay out the ending trying to cover a load at the last minute. So he's putting a lot of faith in me and the carrier, right? Well, sure enough, Greg emails me this morning and says, man, I've got paperwork, man. We're good to go. And so I emailed the broker. I said, I know you're concerned, and we've got this. So brokers love hearing that, so just a word, right? But it's morning, so let's have our check out my coffee mug. Cool dad. I don't know how I acquired this, but I think this might have been given to me from somebody who might be delusional. I don't know. But here we go. Daryl Worth, good morning again. David Edwards, evening, sir. CB, what's up? Cowardly Lion, Blue Star Unite. Alfalfa, hello from Idaho. Cool truck and finally caught you from the beginning because we had an extra intro in there. Jason, what's up? Are you out of the hotel yet? Fester, metal. You going to the show tonight? Were you at the show last night? I missed the show last night. My budget is slim, so I can't go to every show, but I intend to go on to the the show you guys are playing. I'm going to that one. Shannon, good morning, everyone from Pontoon Beach on my 34, enjoying cooking breakfast with Dee Dee and darn great coffee. There you go. What kind of coffee you drinking, Shannon? And I know exactly where you're at, Pontoon Beach. Such a lovely place. LBC loves the guitar. Carnivore Trucker, good morning. If you guys missed it, I did an interview with him on my channel Saturday night, so go look for it in the live section. And then we did a interview the next day, Sunday, on his channel. So go check out the Carnivore Trucker. My name is Nobody. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you, so I'm thinking no news is good news. WT Johnson, good morning. Randy, good morning from Portland, Maine, going coast to coast. You are. You indeed are. Desert Okie Pam, good morning. CDN, good morning, Mr. Steve. Let's go. CDN sent me a link to a FreightWaves article. I read it, didn't quite understand it because I'm like, Durr. So maybe I can bring you on sometime and you can help me go over it. Just sub to you, Carnivore Trucker, says Shannon. There you go. Hit that like. That's not crap. That's killer metal. I know. I just say that, right? I know it's killer metal, man. I made it. I'm just kidding. Always say they should make the Groundhog Day 2 movie again and just release the same movie. It's very random, LVC, but I agree with that statement. That would be funny. Flatbed Trucker, good morning. Or they could do like the Star Wars franchise and make make a new movie, but it's actually the same movie, just in different, people. So CDN says, stick it to that broker for not representing. Well, it's not that easy because it's a broker I work with all the time. I'm sure there's a miscommunication. I will hold them accountable, but I will not be all aggressive or nothing. I'll just be like, hey man, this is an issue. So, and we'll he'll apologize and he'll probably compensate us for it. Well, I say us. Well, it was a load that I booked. So yeah. Okay. Carnivore says, woke up to a dead battery waiting on ERS to send me a jump. Wow, I hate that. I love having an APU for that very reason. That's funny, LVC. Good morning, all. Home for a couple of weeks. I don't know why I said hope. Put truck in the body shop yesterday. Wow. Good deal. Hopefully it won't take more than 2 weeks. Quick hit, good morning. Nope, day 7 of hotel. I'm trying to figure out why I don't break down in Vegas. Because you would go broke, Jason. Breaking down in Vegas would probably be a bad idea. Fester says, sweet. What's good, Snore? Well, we'll find out. We'll see what's out there. Nobody listens anyways, so, my name is Nobody gives me a thumbs up. He listens, but nobody else does. I wish I could be there for Vor and Necrotic Altar. Yeah, you're going to miss out, man. And Vor's got some new shirts. I intend on getting one, so. Starbucks. Oh, Shannon, I just lost a little bit of respect for you. Bought the bag a while ago. Forgot I had it. Today is math day for us. Wrapping up personal tax stuff for 22. My accountant to get on with it already. There you go. Trucker Bill says, saw the first cab over. Electric. Huh. I'm starting the carnivore diet again. I got down to 200 pounds the last time I did it, but I'm back up to 250, so I got to lose it again. There you go. The trick is making it sustainable, and you got to figure out what triggers you to not make it sustainable. Like, what is it about it that wasn't sustainable that you strayed from? And that's the thing is getting to know yourself. A lot of people go, well, easier said than done, Steve. Look at you. You're at home. You're living a life of luxury. No, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. And it's easier for you to say. It's easier said than done. And so what someone has to do is they have to sit there and say, well, why would I say something like that? Why would I say to myself it's easier said than done? Once you figure that out, you can also make it to where it's done. There you go. Knowing yourself, knowing your weaknesses, and knowing your strengths is how you get through anything, whether it's diet, spot market, low board, dedicated runs, regardless. Figure out what makes you tick. And most people don't. I didn't. Ran around for 50 years going, oh my gosh, yelling in the microphones with music behind me because I could not control my emotions. Then once I became in control, then that music meant something different to me. Screaming up on the stage meant something different to me. And I got it out of my system. So there you go. Enough of that soapbox stuff. Not random. You did your intro twice. Okay, there you go, Elvis. Now we're seeing how the mind ticks, right? Rolling with Ryan. I broke down in Vegas. It's an expensive place to break down. I mean, just the hotels alone. Yes, that is true. But Jason's getting his hotels paid for him, I assume. I hope. Mr. Charles, good morning. Jose, good morning. The coffee is yummy because I'm drinking it from my Snorelord coffee cup. Okay. You redeemed yourself a little bit. I did enjoy their blonde roast, Starbucks. I just don't like their company. So nice, Schmitty. What's up? Steve, have you listened to the last song of Metallica's 72 Seasons album, in a Morata, 11 minutes, the longest song ever? What do you think? It is not their longest song. They have had several that long, I think, if I remember correctly. But yes, I've listened to the album. I like the album. Excuse me. I forgot to mute the mic. Sorry about that. I'm not like a Metallica purist. A lot of people like, oh, I haven't listened to album since Justice. They're not metal anymore. The guys are in their 60s and they're still cranking out some thrashy tunes. Is it a perfect album? By no means, no. But do I enjoy the album? Yes. I have not bought it yet. Been meaning to buy it on CD, but I have not done that yet. So eventually I will. It's not a priority. Money's kind of tight. As I showed from this morning, what's going, on the other channel on what's happening to my garage. So these rates and the spot market being the way it is has affected me tremendously. My business is 100% dependent on the spot market, whether I'm in the truck or not. And if I don't perform well, or if the spot market doesn't allow me to perform well, then I struggle as well. So, money's kind of tight. So we'll figure it out, right? And and views are down on YouTube, super chats are down on YouTube. They're pushing the shorts. I don't make enough shorts, so I wear shorts, but I don't make enough shorts. Says Truman. We moved and we're closer to a bunch of restaurants, and it became too easy to go out and eat a lot, so I let myself go. There you go. So you sit there and like, okay, what made it easy? So it's mindset, right? So you got to look at your mindset. You gotta change your perception of the food, right? Pigtail, good morning. I lost a lot of weight and I'm a trucker. I did it on the road. Yes, so did I. DIY, yes, we are good. You should have received the email that he had paperwork in hand. And just to double check, just for you, my friend, I will. Oh, location's turned off, so I don't know if he's moving or not. Shame. But I believe the email informed everyone he had his paperwork at 7 a.m., Mr. DIY. My carb trigger is going home to my sugar junkie. Yes, that could be an issue, right? DIY, we good, sir. Right? Headbangers Brew is a great coffee. I've yet to try that. I want to start my own coffee brand. You know what? I would like to do that. So I'm sure there's a platform somewhere where I can do that. Knock on wood, but finally looking like a good week. It has been a rough month. 2 weeks of me being off on booking loads and 1 week breakdown for a day. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're surviving. I got some good numbers with a couple of trucks this week, and this is actually probably the best week of dispatch I've had in a while. You know, revenue wise, with all the trucks combined. And part of the blitz bump up was part of that, but also some of the new negotiating tactics I've adopted has actually worked. I'm like, wow, it's like opening a magic box. It's like, I'm like, wow, secrets, yay, secrets and nuggets. And I have CDN to thank for that because he's the one that bought me that book. So, and it just shows you just how well, I mean, people are emotional. You know, having trouble staying on a diet, having trouble being too aggressive with the brokers, having trouble understanding why people do things. You know, we did a whole video on I don't understand why ... And you once you learn to understand and listen and figure out what the other side's going through, then you're good. You know, when I dispatch trucks, I'm like, I know because number one, I still have my truck, but number two, I know what it's like to be out there drudging away. Not somebody from overseas like some of these other dispatch services that don't even know the hours of service. I'm the guy who's a driver helping drivers. You know, and there's a lot of carrier owners that still drive their trucks, and so they have a good understanding of what their drivers are going through. So when the driver calls and said, "Hey, this is going on here," you know, you can go, "Well, okay, I understand. Let's figure this out." The cats don't stay in long. I don't know what it is. That one, the orange one especially. Scorpion Trucker, good morning, y'all. Waiting to get unloaded here in Indiana, then moving on to the next load. Thanks again, Rig Runner Logistics. There you go. You're welcome. Horseman drummer is a Metallica purist. I LVC, you made me a subscriber of that. That was we were having a rough day. The wife and I were having a rough day, you know, with everything that was being thrown at us. And so when you sent me that video, it was perfect timing because I watched like basically all of his shorts, laughed my butt off, and then watched the long version of Stairway to Heaven, and that was perfect. And my wife enjoys it as well, and so now she'll come up to me, "Hey, did you watch the new Horseman drummer?" It's pretty neat. It's good to have a good distraction, right? Live in the moment. The Black Album's still one of my favorites, even though they sold out on it. Now they got Bob Rock. Bob Rock did what he was supposed to do. You know, the worst thing about Bob Rock is what he did to Load and Reload. I can handle the Black Album a little bit, but Load and Reload, you know, but ironically, one of my favorite Metallica songs is on Load. It's Bleeding Me. That's one of my favorite songs lyrically. Put some extra distortion gain on that, like the Justice for All gain on that, and that'd be a perfect song. So that's just me. I'm weird. Ride the lightning. Yes. See, even though YouTube monetized shorts, the payout for views is very low. Every short has to be viral to get any decent money. That is true. But there's also a super thanks feature that people can use as well. So I encourage people to do that. Fester says, so how about you doing vocals for Symptom of the Universe on the Sabbath comp? Absolutely. Just give me a time and place and we'll do it. It seems like you are saying you are negotiating well. Yes. It's whether I get the rate or not, it's more about a pleasant experience. So even if and look, there are times when you call a broker and you have no leverage, regardless of how well you speak. But you still come off of it as a pleasant experience. There's a new broker that we hooked up with. And she is lovely to talk to. And she is, everybody, her and people in her brokerage that I've also dealt with in the past, they love talking to me because I'm not confrontational. I'm not trying to price gouge them. I'm not trying to be hard ass, And there's something to be said about how you speak to people. And so it's people that are struggling in the spot market that don't have great speaking skills, they're the ones that are struggling the most. We're all struggling. The rates are down, volumes are down. Once you figure out an area is good, you go there for a minute, then it disappears. That's how it's been for the last 6 years I've been in this game. But being able to talk to people, if your broker has to roll their eyes whenever they see your number on their phone screen, then that's a bad thing to have. So there you go. I'm the dude, man. Good morning, James G. Exactly, Steve. We all need to improve listening skills. What I mean is really learn how to listen to the other person, then create your next question. And I am very bad about forgetting something that people just told me. There have been conversations where, and part of it's because I'm distracted, but part of it, I get on the phone, hey, I'm looking at your load, picking up at da 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 da, and they're like, and then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, okay, so it picks up at 9, right? Delivers, you said 8 a.m. Is that correct? And what was the wait on that? Because sometimes they just spew it out right there in the beginning while I'm trying to formulate a plan. Right? I've got my pad of paper ready. I'm ready to listen and write down stuff. And then TQL, you call them, hey, I'm looking at your load picking up in Baltimore. Well, it's actually picking up in Monrovia. Okay. How many miles is that? It's like now I'm getting Google out, and it's a whole thing. And I really wish that brokers wouldn't do that. Like, just I understand that, maybe not everybody knows where Henrietta, Oklahoma is, but you can at least say this picks up in Henrietta, Oklahoma, so it's about an hour and a half east of Oklahoma City, blah 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 blah. You can do that, right? So excellent. We'll be in touch. Good deal. Shannon says Ride the Lightning was one of my favorite Metallica albums. Oh, by the way, huge congratulations on paying off your trailer. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't done that video yet. But yes, I paid off the trailer officially. I got the lien notice right here. Release a lien. In fact, I need to go to the DMV and get that taken care of. I just now realized that. Thanks, Shannon. I went from metal to country. Is it normal to transition to different genres? Yes, it is normal. I listen to probably more Viking Nordic music than I do metal these days, but I still listen to the metal. It seems that you are saying, despite a difficult freight market, one can still succeed if they have the skills. This is true. I know what you're doing now. Now sell me your trailer. Wouldn't you like that? 40 grand, it's yours. First class YOLO, PRTV, what's up? Coffee. Shannon with her coffee. There we go. All right. So, I almost forgot to do this. Let me do this real quick so I don't get in trouble. And then we'll get to the low boards. And we'll make stuff happen. So we'll put that there. And then we will go to here. Surprised I don't have any trolls in here yet. I'm not popular enough for trolls, but we'll do this just in case. So Trucker Bill says 100. All right. Evidently, I said something people are agreeing with. I'm purchasing a 22 Western Star, going back into debt. Oh, man, James, but what happened to the old girl? She's costing too much money. I was talking to a friend of mine, and this is probably the path I'm on if I start running the truck full time. Is he's gone through, I forget, it was an average of $4,400 a month on his paid off truck to do the repairs since January. $4,400 a month. So just because people have paid off trucks doesn't mean you're free and clear. And so sometimes you have to decide which direction you want to go. So there you go. But a 22 Western Star, man, that's what's got about 100 grand on it on the miles. I kind of like those new Western Stars. But yeah, just because you got a paid off truck doesn't mean you can rest on your laurels. I am guilty of that. I know. The first year my truck was paid off cost me about 20 grand in repairs and maintenance. So truck's never paid off, to be honest with you. It just keeps going and going and going. It's either going to be in the form of truck payments or it's going to be in the form of maintenance, repair, and downtime. Either way, it's a depreciating asset, and you got to treat it as such. You're working on your radio voice, Adam. $1 down, $1 a day. There you go. That's not going to happen, Randy. Sorry. Bakey B, good morning. Keeping the 14 Freightliner, but Western Star has 173,000 miles. Perfect. Still under warranty, I assume. All right. So let's take a look at load availability. This is the 123 load board. There are other channels that do the DAT board. You can watch them. I'm not saying one is better than the other. This is just one of the platforms I use. I use many platforms to book loads, and usually it's not a load board. But for the rare case that you need a load board, if you're one of those types, then the 123 is a good option. It's a fairly cheap option if you use my code 48065. And it will give you load availability, give you rate check, it'll give you everything you need. $35 a month, 30 days are free. You can try it out and say to Steve, I love this load board. I'm going to do this. Or you can go, Steve, this load board sucks. Thanks for the free 30 days. There you go. So, yep, transferring the warranty. Good deal. Just curious, in the streaming era that we're in, do your kids listen to everything? No. They don't listen to hardly any of it. Number one, this doesn't interest them. And I don't think they like the YouTube side of their dad. So, yeah. So That's another topic for another day on a different channel. No different than paid off house. It helps to not have a mortgage, but the house will call for maintenance, right? As we're finding out with our garage. John, have you seen that Kiss has changed in 3,500 for the final tour? They've been retiring for the past 20 years. Yes. Um, I don't have any respect for Kiss anymore. I really don't. Gene Simmons said some stupid stuff. During the "gotta get vaccinated" era, and I have no. I mean, they're money grabbers. I mean, you're pretty much watching a cover band. Now, is it a great show? Probably. I mean, I watched a Kiss tribute show one time, and it was amazing. So I imagine the real thing would be even more amazing. But the reality is I could really care less about Kiss. Miss Charles, I wish they didn't mess with the 5700 XE. That was a great truck, but they had to go and put a Cascadia bunk on it. Doesn't look right now. Let's see. Nevada, what's up? I haven't seen you in a minute. Kiss is all about money, yes. And you can tell it in their music, right? A lot of bands put out music to have a reason to tour, and the tour is where the meat and potatoes are. The merchandising. You can buy a Metallic album once, but if you buy every shirt, if you buy their hat, if you buy their meet and greet, if you buy the tickets to the shows, that's a lot of money revenue there. There's a lot of revenue there. And which, I mean, it's a business. I mean, even my little tiny band that played around here was a business. Did we do it for money? No, but we needed money to survive. We needed money to make shirts. We needed money to get to the next town. We needed money for, the utility bill for the practice pad. So you still need money, or else it becomes an expensive hobby. Like firearms. So, do Uber and Lyft drivers realize they're owner operators and figure maintenance into their income? Absolutely not. No, they don't. Not the majority of them don't. Some of them don't even figure their gas. They don't like the YouTube side of their dad. Do they not realize how awesome you are? Kids these days. Well, that's a matter of perspective. So I think they think the YouTube thing is kind of silly because my kids aren't on a whole lot of social media. To be honest with you, it's if they are, it's in the gaming platforms or the artist platforms, but not. They're not on YouTube as much. They're not on. They don't have Facebook accounts. My son has a Twitter account, but it's just gaming stuff, but he's not like wanting to shout at the world or anything like that, which I'm thankful for. So, and then here's the other part. So I've told him about all the YouTube drama stuff going on, especially when I was partially involved in it. Victim of circumstance, right? Or guilty by association. And they just kind of like, Dad, why are truckers like that? You know, and so they think this whole YouTube thing is just pretty stupid to begin with. Thanks, drama YouTube truckers. Anyways, old school, new school, getting loaded early. Good deal. Have you seen the new Peterbilt 589? Yes. Still a fuel hog. Kiss caskets. Yes, that's a little bit too much. Jerome, we need to talk about your tardiness issue, says Shannon. 10% gross goes into my maintenance. Good deal. Jacoby, I know you don't like grunge, but I think Chris Cornell had the rocker pipes in music history. Thoughts? Yes. The song Loud Love by Soundgarden is one of the best songs, and it really shows his vocal capabilities. Plus, he did some interviews and some acoustic stuff on Howard Stern. It was great. So, no, I do. Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, those are about the only two I can really tolerate. The rest of them can go rot. 31 thumbs up, get 40 more. There you go. LBC shares video. Thank you very much. All right. So, anyways, this is all trailers. So let's take a look at van. If you guys want to for me to look up somewhere, just throw it in there. Why is Oregon green on the map? Well, it was on the all platform, so it's obviously not green on the van. This is van right now. I want to say it was green on flatbed, so let me check that. There it is. So let's check out Oregon. This is flatbed. And we're going to do this for good old CB, who's been a great supporter of the channel. So you have, well, let's remove this. So there's 580 outbound loads and only 33 inbound. So there's your answer, CB. And 7 interstate. So that is why Oregon is green on this map. So obviously there's, I don't know what it looks like on the DAT, what Oregon looks like as far as in and out ratio. So let's do that. So let me remove this for a minute. Let's check the DAT, see if they're confirming the same thing. If it's working. All right. So I'm going to do Trucker's Edge today. I'm a peasant. I only have Trucker's Edge. I'm a peasant. You know why? Because I pay for the 123 low board too. And I've had the full blown DAT and really didn't help me a whole lot more than what this one does. All right, so let's look at Oregon. Oh, we got to switch this to flatbed. Flatbed. All right. Oregon, 189 in and 984 out. So there you go. So Oregon is on fire right now. So that is why Oregon is green, because there's a lot of outbound freight in the flatbed world. There you go. So there's your answer. So let's take a look at some of these loads. You got Lakeview, Oregon. Lots of shipping coming out of Lakeview, going to Colorado. Freight Lane Solutions seems to have a lot of this freight. DSV Road, they've got Gilchrist. Is that how you say that? Oregon, going to Mesquite, Nevada. A lot of short stuff. A lot of stuff going to California, Texas, Colorado, North Dakota. Here's Cascades load. They're at 30 grand. They're literally right where the cargo chief is. 48 foot, 48,000 pounds. Call 354 TARP. They are approved by Thunder, and they are a TM member, so that's good. All right. Here we go. 273 a mile to go to California. Like, the best rates are going into California. Now, they're not wanting to pay anything going to Colorado, which is not good because Colorado's red on this map. But that seems to be where, here's another one going to North Dakota. Glendale, Oregon to Newtown, North Dakota. Picks up Friday. It's been as high as 4,400. It's been as low as 2,888. Cargo Chief's got it around 3056, just like the other one. This might be the same load. A lot of mountains. And if you know how to get out of North Dakota, which is also red, but let's say you live in North Dakota like Cascade does. Lots of California. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is it's getting ready to be hurricane season, which means a lot of building materials are going to be needed and a lot of preparation for the storms to come. So if you see a storm on the horizon on the weather channel, plan accordingly. A lot of them are, FEMA is pre-stocking these storms. If they know that a storm's going to hit Miami, then you're going to see a ton of like bottled water, building supplies head towards Miami or close to Miami, like an offsite warehouse. That's kind of how they've been trying to minimize the amount that rates go high during a hurricane. Like they learned a lesson with Katrina. Everybody was able to spike their rates after Katrina, and you had guys making like $1,000 a day just to sit. And they thought, man, that was expensive as hell. And so they're doing everything they can to not allow that to happen again. So, all right, Gary Bates, what's up? Chris Cornell, oh yeah. If you're tired of broker check calls, move to Canada. Carriers do not communicate. All carriers do, and Noel got a memo and follow it to a T. It's like an unwritten rule. Truly amazing. Oh man, CDN is still struggling with carriers that won't communicate. Chris Cornell version of "Thank You" by Led Zeppelin on Stern is good. I agree. You can buy $100 guitar that Gene will sign and play one song for $5,000. Oh man, that's funny. That is absolutely funny. Alice in Chains was a hair metal band in the 80s. They converted to grunge, which is ironic and funny if you think about it. Yes, it is. Well, see, they pivoted, right? They knew that grunge was going to take away hair metal, and so they just pivoted before and caused their co-parts to go out, right? I prefer In-N-Out Burger over In-N-Out ratios. There you go. I see Wasp is turning. That's kind of intrigon. Probably meant to say interesting. I bet it's Hayloads. It's possible. Not sure I'd say Oregon's on fire. Most of their outbound stays on the West Coast. Hard to get $2 to come back across. That is true. Cheap freight hauler. We just saw that. Cheap freight hauler knows where it's at, right? When I say on fire, I mean, outbound ratios, right? So, man in Cleveland. So let's take a look at that. So we go to load. Oh, no. Find loads. Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio. Going anywhere for, what's the date today? 24th. Super van as requested by Jerome. Search. All right. Let's see what we're looking at. I'm struggling to get above $2 a mile out of the Midwest. Here's one. Perrysburg, Ohio to Benton, Maine for $2.82 a mile, $26.50. Let's see what's going on with it. It's funny. I was on the phone with Adam the other day, and he and I were both looking at the low board at the same time. He was like, "Oh, look at that rate." I'm like, "Yeah, there's something messed up about that one." "Oh, look at this rate." "Yeah, there's probably something messed up about that one." And I called on those, and of course I was right. When you see high money on it, it's either multiple stops or it's something stupid, or it's like 800 miles that you got to pick up at 1 p.m. on Thursday and deliver at 9 a.m. on Friday, but it's 700 miles. Like, yeah, get bent. All right, 2650. There doesn't seem to have anything. Delivers Sunday. Oh, well, here's the deal. Boink. Memorial Day is Monday. I was going to talk about this. I completely spaced it again. Memorial Day is going to add an extra day to any transit time on most loads. Just know that. I had to get a truck to Phoenix, and we got an extra day. Why? Because of Memorial Day. So, be very, very cautious of loads that pick up on Monday. The broker may not know that the receiver or shipper is not open that day. And Memorial Day can kind of creep up on people because it's not like Christmas or New Year's where, there's all this buildup, right? But Memorial Day, oh yeah, Memorial Day is this weekend. That's kind of how it is with most people I know. And so there has been a little bit easier time of negotiating. Now, they drove the rates down in the beginning of this week because they know they're going to get in the short. So what they were trying to do is they were trying to book this stuff early so they're not booking at the last minute on the before the holiday, because that's where you're going to have some leverage. Hey, I'm looking at this load picking up Friday afternoon, delivers Tuesday morning, 500 miles. You're going to be like, show me the money. Hey, I've literally used that. I've literally said, hey, I'm calling on this load, and then we negotiate a rate. I'm like, well, I'm tempted to stay home, so just, it's going to take me a little bit to come out, and you do that with the brokers, because it shows them that you're willing to sacrifice, but it's going to cost you a little bit because you know that you're in a little bit higher demand during a holiday. So now there's a lot of owner operators now that come from other countries that don't recognize the holiday, and so it's not a holiday to them. All it is an inconvenience. Oh, I got to wait an extra day. So depending on that ratio, I mean, you should have some leverage. If not, you need to price it as such. You need to price it in a way that, look, there's an extra day on this, and the shippers should recognize that if they've got good brokers to educate them on that. So that's just an assumption. I might be talking out of my butt, and I know real brokers that might agree or disagree with me, but that's kind of how I'm thinking, right? It's an assumption, and it's theorizing, right? I got fed up with all the junk loads on that, closed my account about 5 months ago. There you go. Van for Cleveland, Ohio. All right, well, let's see. What's the difference? Like, all the loads going into Cleveland? I haven't quite mastered that skill yet. But you can, like, okay, so here's the loads. And then you just click on one and you can see each area of how many loads are coming in back to Cleveland. Like here, you've got a ton of loads coming from California to Columbus. Oh, there's only one. Huh. Santa Springs to, so obviously you wouldn't want this load. That kind of thing. So you can kind of do a reverse search right within the load. So 84 Pennsylvania. That's a unique name. $1.30 a mile to go from Pennsylvania to Laredo. Yeah. Do you believe those maps are manipulated to get trucks to a certain area? No. Here's why. This is a reflection of what's going on. Okay? Because the way you can get trucks into an area is you got to throw some money in it, right? So let's take California as an example. If there are like so many outbound loads, like, okay, last year there were so many outbound loads coming out of California that you can make 10 grand across the country out of California. That's how booming it was. But you know what? They were only paying $1.10 to go in, all the way from the East Coast. The further away you were, the less the money was. And that was part of the problem. That was part of the reason why you couldn't get any trucks in California, because no one wanted to go in because they weren't paying to go in. And the maps reflected that. People have to understand the way brokers and shippers, the way that whole logistics dynamic is working, goes way beyond what the load boards can offer. Like if you look at Sonar, it's essentially a weather map. How many? I've had meteorologists say, I get yelled at when it rains if I'm out and about in the public. He doesn't control the weather; he just reports it. These blowboards just report what's going on. Now, the information itself, is it manipulated? Who knows? But I do know that if AI says that if all the e-logs and all the tracking apps and all the broker apps and all the electronic devices tell everybody that there's a ton of trucks in Georgia, then they know that they could price accordingly. Why do you think all these brokers want tracking apps? They want it for communication. They want to know where their loads are, just like you want to know where your Amazon package is. But also they can utilize the information to their advantage. You know how many times I had a call when I was at Landstar, and they go, "Hey, I notice that you're on a load going to here, or I notice you're sitting in Laredo. Are you still looking for a load?" That happens so many times. And what I didn't know back then is if they're calling me, then they're desperate to move this. Especially this early in the game that I was at. Now, if I had a reputation or whatever, then yeah, but either way, they're utilizing the e-log information that they had access to determine what trucks were in there, and they could price accordingly. So it is about pricing. It's about volume. It's about how easily. So what I do is I look, okay, Oregon's got more loads coming out than in. Can I utilize that to get the best rate possible? Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. So, I saw that comment somewhere, and because okay, so let's take a look at that real quick, okay? Let's switch this to van. Okay? All right, so there's your van load ratios. Let's go to Texas here. Texas is 3984 coming out or going in and 4272 coming out. Now, you mean to tell me out of the thousands and thousands and thousands of trucks moving freight inside the state of Texas, that manipulating the map to show that there's 4,272 loads is manipulating numbers to anybody's advantage? I would like to know the total number of trucks in Texas that are pulling freight. There's only a tiny percentage of them that are pulling low board freight off of the DAT board, and those loads aren't all going to get covered. So and then DAT will tell you how many trucks are posted in the area, even on the cheapy version. Well, hell, you can access that for free. So this whole manipulation thing, our art. Look, I will agree. Let me go back to 1, 2, 3 here. I will agree that the cards are stacked against the small carrier. I will agree that there are so many tools that people have that are better than yours. I do agree that Schneider has a computer database system that tells them everything they need to know, and they got pencil pushers and salespeople that can outperform you anytime, any day of the week. It's like having a hardware store in a land of where there's 8 Walmarts within the area, and 3 Lowe's, and a Home Depot or 2. The cards are stacked against you. They get the trucks cheaper, they get the drivers cheaper, they get the freight easier, and despite all their customer service issues, they still are able to undercut you on that dedicated lane that you've been running for 2 years out of your area, because they can drop 10 trailers and call it a wrap. And the shipper only has one goal or two goals. One is to move their freight as cheaply as possible, and two, that it gets there safely and on time. And if Schneider comes in and they can't accomplish that, then they're going to call Swift. Then they're going to call JB Hunt. And it's up to you, Mr. One Truck Owner Operator, to give them an idea that you could do better. Well, how many trailers can you drop? It's got to be live loaded. Okay, see ya, right? That's how it works. So is there manipulation? Yeah, but it's not coming from the low boards. Now, I think where people sometimes get that misconception is like, okay, Oregon was a hot area for flatbed, but were the rates? The rates were best coming out of California or going into California, but what were they like coming out? I didn't look at that. So, but we can, so let's go do that. So let's go back to load availability. Let's go back to flatbed. Let's go to Oregon. Let's go to inbound. Let's say you want to go into Oregon. It's all come from Idaho. Let's see what the rates are. Wow, $240 a mile to go into Oregon from Mercer, from Indiana. Usually it's around 59. 65's been the high and 48's been the low. So let's say you do it at face value, $240 a mile to do that. And then we saw that you can get $240 a mile into California. So what do we do here? We go to this and we click on California. This is flatbed. And we look at outbound. 220, 220, 209, 209. What I'm looking for is consistency. Can we stay above 240 at all times, all miles? So where are the best paying loads going? Well, looks like they're going to Colorado. Well, Colorado, we already know, is a crap show. So somewhere you're going to take a hit. So these maps are meant to be weather maps. They're meant to tell you what's going on. Because let's say I go, oh, look, Oregon's got a lot of loads coming out, but I've got a truck here in Maine, right? By the time he gets from Maine to Oregon, that might not be the case. Because I've seen markets literally take a dump overnight. That happened in Ohio. Well, actually, opposite happened. You know, DIY called me yesterday and was like, hey, man, Wisconsin flipped back over. And sure enough, there it was. Load ratios had changed. What caused? And so what I do is like, okay, what caused that? How many people know what your state produces? Have you ever like Googled, hey, what is such and such state known to produce? What are the commodities coming out of Missouri? What's the commodities coming out of Alabama? What's the commodities coming out of Oregon? What does Oregon manufacture? What are they known for? Old grass seed, Christmas trees, hay, right? So no. Short answer is no, LBC. Power only out of Phoenix. All right, so let's go back to find loads. There won't be much on here because there's not a whole lot of power only on this load board. Now that's fixing to change with the Freight Waves article I read, but I still have to wrap my head around it. Freight Tech's got a few, so let's click on. Here's one for 12 cents a mile. Obviously, it's going to be a loadout trailer going to Connecticut if you're into self abuse. So I'm assuming this is a loadout trailer, so you're not going to get a lot of averages here. And so if you put it on the highest rate, you'll see that it's all power. It's all loadout trailers. And how do you tell? Because it's very cheap. Usually between $100 and $300. Now, if it's got a full price on it, that means it's an empty trailer and they don't want anything loaded in it, so they know they got to pay for that. But see, there's a carrier called Trailer Transit. They will take that a lot cheaper than what they can put it on the spot market for. They're willing to take that for $1 something a mile to go from, say, Oregon to Connecticut or Phoenix to Connecticut, whereas everybody else is going to want $2 a mile or something. For a trailer they're not loading. Now, if it's a specialty trailer like farm equipment or a tanker, they're going to pay. But here's the thing about not having a trailer: they have the leverage. The brokers always have the leverage if you're a power only. Until you get a loadout trailer that you keep them for a week, then you're back to just regular dry van or whatever. So the coffee's getting cold. Dang it. Been talking too much. I told my wife yesterday that I talk too much. Because I do. You think the Canadian fires will help us here in the U.S. shipping stuff into Canada? I do not know. CDM would know that answer. Jackknife TV, what's up? How's Florida outbound doing? Is produce actually paying anything? Well, let's take a look at reefer here. Actually, we'll do fine loads. All right. There you go. That's reefer for today, coming out of Florida, going anywhere. Search. Highest paying load. Oops, already had it on there. I'm dumb. $1.59 a mile. 330. Here you go. 330, 39, 30 going to Schenectady, New York. Jessup, Maryland. So all the best rates, $3 going to Jessup. All the best rates are going northeast. Here's one going to Arkansas for 213. Let's click on that one. I know Arkansas. Jonesboro is practically Memphis. You're going to tap in the Memphis market. Oh, look at all these stops. Wow. Okay. Yeah, so, and they've got that. Oh, that's laughable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 stops for $24.50. Oh man, gotta love it. Gotta love it. That psychological aspect that we don't want you to call, that works on that, something like that. Here we go. Let's take a look at this Plant City to Jessup, Maryland. 2-day run, 932 miles, 42,000 pounds. So your fuel and toll bill's going to be pretty high. They're at 28. Cargo Chiefs got it 26. The highest was 33. I would definitely negotiate up a little bit. Well, it picks up today, delivers Friday. Today is Wednesday, 3rd. So depending on what time it delivered Friday, that might put you in a bad situation because the rates coming out of Maryland aren't that great, regardless of your platform. So hit the thumbs up, says LVC. Do what he says. Late to the party, looking forward to the horrible movie that is the spot market. That's a matter of perspective. You're welcome, Jerome. I'm trying to get home before Memorial Day, but will probably not happen with my luck. Oh, man, don't be so negative. Memorial Day in Michigan kicks off summer lake season. Yes, that is absolutely true. Jeff was, I saw like 5 minutes of his feed last night, and he was in the camper. 302.6 a mile for all miles last week. So do I haul cheap freight or am I a penny pinching freight hauler? There you go. You're a cheap freight hauler, not a cheap freight hauler, right? I can tell you in 16 years, I've never been taught how to know when to drop or increase a rate in a lane. If you become a broker today, you're not given a magic rate wand. I have never been the head of the rate monster. I have small regional carriers who have had the same base rate for at least 8 years. Only fuel surcharge changes. They charge the rate they need. They have never used a low board. There you go. Right? I think that's why CDN likes me, because I understand some of that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, you got people that have brokerages that don't even understand the supply and demand aspect. So, what would be a good or decent area to be in for van? Well, southeast right now. Like right this minute, or to live. Southeast has been pretty decent. I have one truck that's been going back and forth from the Midwest to the Southeast, and we've been doing good both directions. So I hate it when a market gets too much on fire, too much volume, because now they don't want to pay to go in. That's annoying. So what I do is I look for consistent lanes that are like the same amount both directions. And that's getting harder and harder to find. At some point you're going to take a hit somewhere. I don't care if you bounce all over the country or not. You're going to take a hit somewhere. So here's an idea. A company who operates out of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Indiana. We got you covered. There you go. Combined forces. Is that what you're saying? Shippers manipulate rates in a specific lane for a specific time period. I've quoted a shipper, and they say they budgeted a lower rate. I try again and move the load for shipper rate. It happens. These shippers did not calculate cost to operate truck. More often, they applied percentage on value of load to determine their freight budget. There you go. They don't care about your costs. Shippers don't care that you're idling your 389 out front for 3 hours while they're trying to load you. They don't care about that cost. Mr. Charles, just like when people used to say that Schneider would monitor and cap the lease guys to 5K gross, I always thought it was crazy. Yeah, because the last thing they want to do is have their lease guys be successful. Look, when people are struggling, and here's this look, I have some empathy about this. I have some sympathy for these people. When things are not going your way and the rules aren't working well for you, then people say it's biased. Kind of like, that referee called the wrong play, called the wrong thing. That's why we lost the game. No, you lost the game because you put yourself in a situation that one referee call changed the whole game. Okay, so let's pretend that the low boards are manipulated. Okay, let's say CDN doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's say the low boards are manipulated to get you where they want you. Figure out that system and master that system to your advantage. If you're playing a game and you got a bad ref, then you got to execute a lot more clearly to where if he does make a bad call, it's blatant. There's nothing you can do about that part. So if that low board is manipulated, if you feel it's manipulated, because God forbid all the low boards show the same stuff, right? Then use that manipulation to your advantage. If you think, oh, wow, Georgia's green because they're trying to get all the trucks to Georgia, you go, well, why do they want all the trucks in Georgia? Oh, that's right, because there's a lot of outbound freight. Hey, I might put my truck in Georgia. Because you know why? It'll be easier. I only have to make 20 phone calls instead of 30. Or, hey, my broker rep's got a bunch of loads coming out of there. Come on now. If you think the rules are against you, which is easy to do right now, because people are struggling, people are suffering, People aren't making it. You have good businessmen that still may not make it through this. I get it. But to be honest with you, that's a sign of weakness. Well, it's not fair. What is fair? Well, we do all the work. So we need to be compensated for that. Okay, but on whose gauge? Your truck that only gets 5 miles per gallon? Or the guy, you know, duct taping his hood, does he deserve the same rate? What's fair? And there are people that will take nothing instead of something simply because it's not fair. There you go. As soon as you get that fairness out of your head and realize these are the game, this is the rule. This whole thing is what you've got to play with. I don't care if you got the DAT, 123, truck stop, Doft, trucker path, that other one that all the major brokers are on. I don't care what low board you're using. If you're using a low board, you are at the mercy of what the brokers are willing to pay. You are at the mercy of the market, and those are the rules you got to play by. And if you think the system is against you, it is. Just not in the way that you think. It's as simple as that. Oh, that might be my new coffee mug. It's as simple as that. Can I get a fresher? You want to say hi to the YouTubes?
No, my hair's a wreck.
Okay. My wife didn't want to say hi to you guys. Her hair's still wet. She just got out of the shower. It's still just. But us truckers cannot get together, stick together. LOL. From all the billboards in Michigan, I'm beginning to think it's pot shops. Has anybody done convoy empty trailer moves? I have not. No. I would take that New York one or 3 for 3 something a mile. There you go. James G, I don't have any facts, but I would believe someone if they told me that Michigan has the most pot shops per square mile. Either Michigan or Oklahoma. School's out for summer buffering, and my wife is none too excited. I can't remember. Sorry, I'm laughing at TC's. We'll get to his comment. I can't remember, but the forest fires took out under 100 homes and maybe 50 to 60 farm buildings. There will be construction, but barely move the needle in the grand scheme. Grand scream. TC Fox 9 stops. What the what? Right? Bakey, I think I called you Blakey. I apologize. Bakey says, thank you for your helpful insight, Snorelord. Well, I try. Although that ref did have it out for Nolan last night. He came out and confronted Nolan when he was walking to the dugout. Ref was in the wrong. You're talking baseball. I had no idea. Having my best month yet. Looking at 38 gross for this month. There you go, cents per mile. I don't hear any winners playing the role of victim. There you go. That's it. That's what it is. I don't know a carrier or a broker who knows their data is being given the low board. Do you? Any of you? I always question where low boards get their data. Look at peak of vid TIE when $4 to $5 market next. That would be the magic question, right? Where do the low boards get their data? Well, they're getting it from themselves, right? So if you have 100 shippers in Florida shipping and posting, or brokers posting, then the low board's going to reflect that there's 100 loads coming out of Florida. That's why the manipulation is funny to me. And again, I think where it comes from is people are struggling, and also, like, oh wow, Florida's got 1,000 loads coming out. They're still only paying $1.10, $1.20, $1.30, or are they? There you go. Cents per mile, I'm watching your success. Wish I learned how to secure freight on an open deck earlier in my career. Thanks, bud. Trucking don't care about your feelings. I heard from a smart guy. They don't. The average lane rates never reflected the high rates being paid. Do you see any charts showing 4 to 5 historical rates? Don't hate the players, hate the game. If you don't like the game, play a different one. There you go. It's that simple, right, Shannon? Honestly, the shippers dictate the prices, not the brokers. The problem is the brokers are the middlemen and taking a portion of an already reduced rate. Well, they got to survive too. So I just realized I'm a lucky person in your channel or YouTube basis that give memberships by the amount someone is watching your channel, because I have a member. I have been a member for 3 months. And I don't pay for memberships? Wow, interesting. I think you got gifted a couple of times. I think that's part of it. Tennessee, what's up? Just my policy on YouTube. Shoot, look at all your permissions the low board apps ask when you install them. That's where they get their info, right? Well, posting trucks too. If you post your truck, then boom, that's on the radar, right? I just got a load to get me home this weekend. Yay. It's my middle daughter's birthday. Excellent. You'll be home for more. See, if you're going to take an extra day of transit, do it at home, right? I can't tell you how many times I got an extra day at home because I was taking a load, say, from Ohio to Dallas for Memorial Day. And that means that like Tuesday, we're not Dallas, maybe say something like Tulsa or something like that. Then I get the weekend off. Tennessee won. Rates look better, Snorelord, after I deadhead out of Pennsylvania Sunday, LOL. One of my big gripes is company signage. Why can't they use common sense? I have no idea. Common sense, I don't know why they even use the term common sense. That doesn't even make sense. So, but anyways, let's take a look at load availability here again. Let's do reefer. We did van and we did reefer, I think. A lot of these states have lit up again, so we're no longer. We're still upside down a little bit, but Indiana's a good spot. Let's see. Little shorty going to Stevens Point. Shorty going to Indianapolis or Michigan. Orleans, Indiana to Columbus. I know short haul rates have gone up in some areas. I have noticed that. Here's this load, the Connecticut, 318 a mile, but then you got the Connecticut road usage deal that you got to deal with. You got high fuel. What's the weight of this load? 12,000, so the fuel won't be too bad. And then what's it look like coming out of Connecticut? This picks up today, delivers tomorrow at 10 p.m., so you're looking at Friday morning probably. You have 81 loads coming out of Connecticut going anywhere. Let's see what their rates look like. $1.60 to go across country. $1.64 to Colorado. $1.59 to Texas. Here's another one staying in the Northeast, going to Delaware out of Massachusetts, $365 a mile, $1,500 on the revenue. And then if you want to go to Illinois, you're going to take a hit, $1,000 at 786 miles. Let's click on that one. Not that I would do this, unless I had to be in Illinois for one reason or another. Then I would still try to negotiate them up. Cargo Chief's got about 13. Green Screen's got it at 1302. 42,000. One pick, one drop. Call now, he says in exclamation points. Agricultural logistics, I do have some experience with them. I'd probably shoot for 15 on this. Talk them up a little bit. Because Illinois sucks. Well, I say that, but let me look, see if it's flipped yet. Oh, this is the back haul, so it's not going to give me that deal. So let's go back to the hot market map, and let's take a look at Illinois. The workers are out there. $336 outbounds. See what the rates are looking like coming out. Filter by rate. Go to Oregon for $1.65, $1.68. So they didn't get the memo that there's more freight coming out. 271. Sauget, Illinois to Springfield, Mass. Again, best rate going back northeast. So if you can utilize and master the northeast, you can make some money. But understand what you're going to get coming out. That's the big thing. That's the thing with any area. Is you got to understand what you're going to get coming out. And understand that if you need something specific at a specific time to go into a specific place, and there's more trucks than loads, you have no leverage. You don't let the broker know that, oh, I got to get my truck to Phoenix. You don't do that. You go, hey, man, I might take this one to Phoenix. You know, it's like a yard sale. You might find the most valuable. You might be like, oh, this is cool. And you go up to the yard sale guy like, I really, really want this. And you got $10 on it. I can only give you $5, but I really want this. You think they're gonna have sympathy for you? No, they'll be like 15 now, mofo. That's how it works. Don't let them know you're desperate. Search the Nolan ejection. It makes you mad as well. I put the Cardinals in a very bad situation. Worst ejection of the year by far. I'm not a baseball guy. When I was a kid, I used to watch baseball all the time. Then they striked. Then they had a strike. And I go, why are they striking? Because the millionaires think they're not making enough money. I'm like, oh. So I got rid of all my baseball cards and just got out of it. Never got into it. So try restricting the permissions and apps quit working. If it wasn't that annoying, I'd uninstall the apps when I'm not using them, then reinstall. Too much work to do that though. I do that with a couple of brokers. So Cash is King is in the house just in time for me to end this video. So look, we're all going through some stuff right now, right? And you know what? Keep your head in the game. Know that the rules are against you. The cards are stacked against you, but you know what? That's why you got to be better than you are today. Because if not, you'll be left in the dust. CN's got a comment. It's got to pop up here. Make the most of your life. Once One of our agents that I talked to and laughed with 2 weeks ago, my office announced he passed away. Very unexpected. Spend the life with loved ones and doing what you love. Sad. Right. I agree with that, CDN. You have people out here that are sacrificing all that time with their family just to make a truck payment. And you know what? You don't get that time back. You can make money back. You can recoup your business, but you can never recoup that time from your family. Trust me. Why do you think I'm home a lot more now? With that being said, thanks for watching. Strength for today. Hope for tomorrow. Aggression turns the screws. And you know what? It's not fair, but you got to deal with it anyways. Peace.